just lays into him, and the dust starts to settle, and he sees that cannonball is still there. But that was my most powerful blow. Very Dragon Ball Z. So what's the deal? Even at this time, cannonball wasn't a focus at all. Good evening, AKAPADers. What is happening? Peter A. DeLuca here, aka Pad69. Welcome back to the channel. This is where we do comics, we read comics, I give you my opinions, and yes, we regularly talk about Rob Liefeld. I don't know if there's another YouTube channel on this spinning orb called Earth that talks about Rob Liefeld more than what we do here. We talk about the good and the bad. So here, we got some mind-blowing goodness here. This is a little bit of my night tea. And why is it nighttime? How come I haven't been dropping videos during the day like I normally do? The answer is simple. Holy crap, am I busy. I came home from the office today, had to wait an hour, and then get on the phone with an AKA Patter that, believe it or not, needs some remote IT infrastructure help. So we worked out a freelance agreement. So AKA Patters, I always say, put yourself out there, let people know what you do. The money and the clients and even the friends, they'll find you. Young Peter A. DeLuca, young version of myself, was blown away by X-Force number 9. It wasn't New Mutants 98. It wasn't even New Mutants 87. It wasn't even X-Force number 1 that a young Rob Liefeld blew the mind of a young Peter A. DeLuca. It was X-Force 9. Now, I want to go into two different threads regarding X-Force 9 because I view X-Force 9 as Rob Liefeld's final issue of X-Force. There's a lot of problems from issues 1 through 9. These problems have yet to be identified by other comic book commentators, so hopefully to get more of that, you subscribe, you support, leave comments, and let me know you hear what I'm saying. But X-Force 9 pays off 5 years later in Uncanny X-Men 341, drawn by Joe Mandora, written by Scott Lobdell. They pick up a couple key elements from the story, and it pays off here 5 years later. But that's not what we're going to discuss. I want to show you why I love this issue so much. It has nothing to do with Rob Liefeld can draw feet or anything. It has everything to do with Rob Liefeld just maybe being able to predict what's interesting to the reader at the time. Rob Liefeld was a young dude. There wasn't much of an age gap to the rising comic book readership at the time. He had his ear to the pavement and knew what to sell and how to sell it. Now, along the way, a lot of comic book tradition got washed away. Okay? Along the way, it got washed away. Panel to panel, page to page, explanations, building the story, delivering a coherent story. This is what was challenged by the Image 7. Later, we see this in full force with Extreme Studios. The difference is there's no continuity to hold back Extreme Studios. So a lot of those stories, a lot of those early issues of Supreme and New Men, the later issues of Young Blood, they're good reads because there's no context around the individual characters and issues. Here, like, we always have continuity. We got things that we have questions right out of the bat, and that's where to become a good comic book writer or creator for the big two, you have to be part historian, period. Now, the big two have done nothing but hard work to take that out of the way, eradicate that. But there should be a return to it. we talk about this a lot on this channel. To grow comic book readership, we have to get back to continuity-based storytelling. Rob Liefeld isn't of the school of continuity, not even within his own books. Rob Liefeld's method is to shock and awe, shock and awe. Every single issue should have a revelation or like a good cliffhanger ending, which he's good at identifying at this time. We also have to discuss the errors of Rob Liefeld. The all go no quit Rob Liefeld, the Image comic book Liefeld, the Rob Liefeld that got kicked out of Image Comics, and the return to Marvel Rob Liefeld. These are the 4 eras of this individual, and they're all as complicated as the predecessor or what comes after. It's just, Rob Liefeld's just a complicated dude. I just want to show you guys a young Peter reading this book, and this is where I want to say this is where I realized that comic books kind of incorporate everything. It's okay to rip things off. It's okay just to steal and put into a comic book, because you get another one of these next month. And in a large way, it's disposable entertainment. You're supposed to read this and just toss it. So let's hit that drawing table. And I don't know. I always try and get like a zinger before we hit. Let's just do it. Let's just hit that drawing table. Let's go. There she blows. AKAPAD, say hello to the 2 mascots of the table. Our boy Crypt, co-created by Rob Liefeld, but really created by Stephen Platt. And our boy Pike, co-created by Jim Lee, but maybe also created by Brandon Chow. These guys, if you love 90s comics, you know who these guys are. If not, go pick them up on eBay. They are cheap. Let's get some good lighting. We've done this on this channel. We profiled Uncanny X-Men 341. 1997. This issue is legendary for a few different reasons. It really shows off the capability and the growth of this character, Cannonball. He's essentially fighting Superman, but Superman's from outer space and he's part of the Shi'ar Empire. And previously they face off against the X-Men. And, well, the super guy here, he's invincible. He's Superman. And he gives Cannonball everything he has in this issue. His name's Guardian, by the way. And we have this great shot. Let me get this shot when he just lays into him. And the dust starts to settle and he sees that Cannonball is still there. But that was my most powerful blow. Very Dragon Ball Z. So what's the deal? Even at this time, Cannonball wasn't a focus at all. They had the seeds of this whole issue. And the reason why this issue, when it came out, really excited and blew people's minds is because a lot of us remember reading something of a setup in here in X-Force number 9. I call this the last final Rob Liefeld X-Force issue because he's writing, it looks like he's doing the layouts, but he's got Dane Panosian helping him, and Dane Panosian has, you can kind of tell right here, he has like a different crosshatch technique. But we get some Rob Liefeld layouts, we get some Rob Liefeld fights, Rob Liefeld tropes like the upside down head here. We have a whole issue of Snake Eyes coming up where literally he takes this same frame, the same panel here, and he just flips it and gets a whole fight scene out of a whole effing book. So previously, Cannonball got stabbed. But here's the wild thing. Cannonball got stabbed at the end of issue 7. And issue 8 is a flashback issue not drawn by Rob Liefeld, but laid out by Rob Liefeld. That's the famous Mike Mignola, a.k.a. Mr. Hellboy issue. So Cable's rushing to save Cannonball. And this is great because we get a little bit of the capability of Boom Boom here. And Boom Boom's able to keep Sauron at bay. And then we have, what's her name? Claw. Thorn. Thorn with 2 ends, this girl. Thorn with 2 ends, and she's got claws right here. But this is Farrell's sister. And, well, she fights. When in the intro, when I spoke about the breaking of tradition, this is really what I mean, where we're kind of just going here. We're in a fight. We're maybe in the med lab, because that's where Cable's rushing to save Cannonball, right? He's running here. He's like, I gotta take him to the Medi lab. And all of a sudden here, but there's no background, there's no establishing shot. Again, the breaking of tradition. And here Cable says, you're something special, Sam. That's why I've been here all along. So we know Cable's from the future. And Sam here, well, he's just a new mutant with a new Rob Liefeld design. Like, what's the big deal? And he just, we know his power. He shoots fireballs out of his butt and goes all around the place. That's why you healed so quickly from Farrell's gunshot. That's why you've always had so much trouble using your kinetic blasting power. All because you're a High Lord. And here we go. We establish that Cannonball is something else. Something so much else that one of the many reasons of what Cable's mission is from the future, and at this time, it was mysterious. It was awesome. It worked. One of those reasons now is revealed that he is looking after Cannonball, because Cannonball is a High Lord. So, as you guys can guess, at the end of this issue, he heals. And he's back to life. But we get the real revelation. This is what blew my mind. Everyone fights the Blob here. Again, breaking of tradition. We just have to do things. The Blob, who for some reason cannot fight Shatterstar and the girl Banshee here. He jumps off the cliff, and then coward, not worth soiling my blades on. Let else attend to the other. So, we have a little conflict on the surface. Nice Rob Liefeld layouts here, right? I think we see this exact panel too in Youngblood #1. But then we cut to Farrell attacking Sauron, and a little bit of the breaking of this tradition is right before we cut away from Cable. Cable's blasting Sauron. See, he's got the 3 blames. But then we get here, and we we don't see what happens with the gunshots. Farrell's attacking him. She kind of talks it away. No big deal, moving forward. And then Thorn here, she goes buck wild on Cable's face. And right here, he's like, oh my god. See? She goes buck wild. But he's like normal, right? He's normal. And then he's shadowed here. But we get the true revelation here, guys. Young teenage mind blown. When Cable's revealed to be the Terminator. He's a full Terminator now. He's part cyborg. I was a big fan of Terminator, as you can guess, growing up. I love Terminator 2. Watched it literally all. I watched Terminator 2 and Aliens and John Borman's Excalibur like on repeat through my entire youth. This was so shocking to me. Because but it makes perfect sense. I never thought about it. I never assumed it. But as a young mind, this really just showed me you can put anything in the comic book. And they go back and forth. And he's like, Thorn tore up my face. And then we get Mask here, right? Mask. M-A-S-Q-U-E. But Mask, who like literally comes out of nowhere. He gets gutted by Shatterstar and is just lying there dead. And that's it. It's a wrap. Cable's part cyborg. Mask is dead. Blob jumped off of a cliff. And Cannonball is immortal. I'm telling you, this makes you look. Next, answers and questions. This literally makes you want to read issue 10. You cannot read issue 10 soon enough. The problem, though, is that this was a setup. We can say this was a setup by Rob Liefeld and Fabian Nikisi. And no one addresses it anymore. No one goes to this issue. This is the most pivotal issue Rob Liefeld was a part of when it comes to moving a little bit of this lore forward. And thank God, guys like Scott Lobdell here, who no one gives credit to, thank God Scott Lobdell knows enough about X-Men lore to go back to this and give a big payoff 5 years later. If you want a great 2-issue combo, you can't get any better than these two right here when you want to discuss the importance of continuity. Because if you read this, you would have to dig this up in the back issues. So, and then at that point, you just say to yourself, I might as well just get all the X-Force. That's how we sell comics.